Hey, welcome back. It's Eric, occasionally known as the Big E Arnold, here in my secondary studio. We're not in the barn tonight. We're going to have a episode of the Politics Barn here this evening. Well, this morning. It's about 2 a.m. on the 24th of February, Thursday morning. So what we got here? Well, let's see. Baseball lockout. Russian invasion, American freedom trucker convoy. Hey, things are interesting. Isn't that the old Chinese curse? May you live in interesting times. That's a curse, not a wish. And we live in interesting times right now, so makes for easy episodes of content. You don't have to think too hard. You just talk about what's going on. So let's get into it. Clean up from the previous episode. I was talking about Juwan Howard. I told you people that the Michigan basketball coach had punched an assistant on another team, and we were waiting for the punishment to come down from the Big Ten. Jason Whitlock, sports writer, pundit, predicted that he would get a slap on the wrist. Jason Whitlock was correct. The Big Ten suspended Juwan Howard for 5 games, the rest of the regular season. He will return for the Big Ten tournament and whatever other postseason tournament Michigan may get into, such as the NCAA tournament. Complete, total slap on the wrist, exactly as Jason Whitlock predicted. So there's that. Baseball, I saw something significant today, and I can't say it's good. Again, this is all politics. I mean, as far as negotiating a labor contract, what does that have to do with hitting, pitching, and fielding? Nothing. It's politics. That's why this is part of the political episode. The owners have set an artificial deadline of Monday, the 28th of February, that basically, if they don't have a deal by the 28th of February, they're going to start canceling regular season games, which makes no sense at all because that's a month. It's still a month until the opener. It doesn't take players a month to get ready. This is all crap, and everyone knows it. But the owners have no intention of making a deal. Why else would they set this stupid arbitrary deadline of Monday? It's 5 days away. There's no way a deal is going to be struck in the next 5 days. There's just no way. That's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong, because I want a full season of baseball, because that's one of our primary sports we handicap. And our systems are geared towards the natural rhythms of a full marathon baseball season. You start shrinking the season, I have a feeling that's going to end up like it was in 2020, where we couldn't pick a winner to save our lives because none of our systems worked. Because you're dealing with an ahistorical season. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen again. So, like I said, I hope I'm wrong, but according to what I read, that if they go past Monday and the owners insist on canceling games, the players are going to retaliate by no longer agreeing to an extended postseason. I guess that's a point that they've both agreed on, that going forward, the playoffs are going to be even longer. In other words, even more teams are going to make the playoffs, because I guess both sides agree that, you know what, we can make even more money if we just play more games. It's like, well, yeah, okay, win-win, whatever. Well, the players, I guess, are going to figure that that'll hurt the owners somehow if they no longer agree to that. So then, my way of thinking, they'll even be further apart than they are now. And the owners don't care because they have all the leverage. A billionaire owner, even though the guy's probably in his 70s, he's going to live probably for another 20 years. He has no rush to make a deal. Players, on the other hand, most players' useful career is probably 5-6 years. They need to make their money now. They can't afford to just throw away a whole season of prime money making. I mean, that's like saying, hey, I'm going to throw away 1/6 of my lifetime earnings. Just throw it away. Only an idiot would do that, but that's what the players are. Ultimately, they're going to figure that out. And that hard calculus is probably going to force them to the table at some point. And why they don't just do it now, who knows? I guess they think somehow the owners are going to waver. They won't. They never do. But I think the players, they know they've been run over in previous negotiations, or at least that's their feeling. So this time we're gonna take a stand, and we're gonna. Why? I don't understand. It's like you're already making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Why do you need to make just 3 million more? Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. But the need to win is going to trump all and damage. Ultimately, of course, the fans are the ones that take it in the shorts, and nobody gives a shit about the fans. So hopefully ESPN will start showing college baseball, and I'm hoping that minor league baseball. Honestly, I remember in '81, minor league baseball was played. I don't remember what happened in the mid-90s when they canceled the World Series. I honestly don't remember at that point. I don't know why I don't remember. I do remember in '81, it was the first time in my lifetime that games were canceled. They stopped in the middle of the season. It was horrible. I mean, I was a huge baseball fan. I was 13 years old, but I lived baseball back then. In a way, I still do. And it was very traumatic. But I do remember that they did continue playing minor league games in '81. So hopefully that'll continue, that there will be minor league games, that that's not going to be part of this. I honestly don't know. I guess I need to figure that one out. Again, Pittsburgh Louie asked me to dig into the issues. I don't give a damn about the issues. I just want them to play. I just want them to play. I do not care. Do not care about their issues. All right. Now, segueing into something else I don't care about. Russia apparently now has invaded the Ukraine. I guess that just happened here in the last 4 hours. 10 o'clock Eastern time last night. I think that's when it officially happened. Well, hold on a second. No, I still don't give a shit. I was trying to, generate some interest, generate a care. Nope, don't give a shit. Don't care. I don't care. I just don't. I don't know that much about what goes on over there. I don't think anyone does. Unless you've actually lived over there, all you know about that region is whatever someone else has told you. And I guess where I'm at with that, the people that are telling me I need to care about this and I need to be involved in this, they're all people I don't trust, with a few exceptions. People I trust are telling me we shouldn't be in this. There's no reason for us to be involved in this. Who's telling me that? Senator Rand Paul. That's somebody I trust. Tucker Carlson, I trust him. He's telling me the same thing. Now, Ted Cruz, I trust him. He's telling me I need to be involved in it. Mark Levin, conservative commentator. He's telling me I need to be involved in this. That's a little confusing now. But then on the other hand, straight down the line, people I don't trust and have lied to me repeatedly, pretty much throughout their entire existence, Biden, the leftist media, all those people, they're all telling me I need to be involved in this, or I'm a Putin appeaser. A Putin appeaser. Putin appeaser. What? Okay, well, all right, whatever. I mean, just the fact that those people are telling me one thing tells me, well, whatever they're telling me, usually the answer is the exact opposite. So, right there, I'm starting to think, why do I need to be involved in this? Why is this important? I have no idea. I mean, didn't Russia take over the Crimea? Wasn't that part of Ukraine? Didn't they take that over like 8 years ago or something? Obama was president then, right? Did the world end when that happened? I don't think it did. I don't know and now 8 years later, I guess he's trying to get more chunks off of Ukraine. I don't know. You're telling me he's Hitler, right? That's the whole thing. I'm Neville Chamberlain, and you guys are Churchill, and you war hawks, you neocons, you guys are Churchill. I'm Chamberlain. I'm a Putin appeaser, and we have to stop Putin now before he invades London, right? Well, I don't know. He took over the Crimea in 2014. He wants another couple chunks of Ukraine now. I mean, this is the slowest world takeover in history if this is where he's going. He must have some kind of cryogenic machine that he can freeze himself with, because he's going to die before he gets too much further. He'll die somewhere by the time he gets into Poland, probably, at the rate he's going. World's slowest world takeover. I mean, I was thinking about Hong Kong. Hong Kong used to be a free city-state. Hong Kong's a huge city that used to be a British colony. Then I guess the British got tired of having colonies and they wanted to get rid of them, so they just either granted them their freedom, or I guess in Hong Kong's case, they agreed to turn them over to China or some damn thing. I don't know how that all worked out. And I don't know if they asked the people that lived in Hong Kong about it or not. The British just said, we don't really care. You don't have a say in it. We're just turning you over to the Chinese. Because if I was in Hong Kong, I'd say, I kind of don't like that idea. They're authoritarian thugs. Why I'm now under their rule? Well, that happened, and Hong Kong is now under Chinese rule. I don't think the Hong Kong people like it all that much, but you never really hear them complain too much, because if they do, they get a black bag wrapped around their head, and you don't see any more about them. The world didn't end. World didn't end. And Hong Kong's not a small place. If you can believe this, and I do believe it because the internet told it to me, and if it was on the internet, then it must be true. Hong Kong has a bigger economy than the Ukraine does. So, the world didn't end when the communist Chinese took over Hong Kong. I just don't see why I need to be involved in this. Now, here's something else, and, I'm sure this is a coincidence. The internet tells me there's 195 countries in the world. Isn't it just the damnedest coincidence that the country that suddenly now is the key to American foreign policy is also the one that was paying off the Biden family and the Ukraine? Isn't that amazing? Damn, what a coincidence. Life is just full of coincidences. That's just amazing. So, we just should not be involved in this, but it's, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. I think this is simply the Democrats. In a way, it's almost like kudos to you, smart politics. They split the Republican Party. So as I aforementioned, I just mentioned 4 Republicans: Rand Paul, Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz, Mark Levin. These guys are in the same party, and they're viscerally divided on this issue. You have the neo-hawks, neocons, Pansy Graham, probably, well, John McCain's dead, but whoever, I guess Graham takes his place twice or whatever. Jeff Flake, he's no longer in office. Liz Cheney, these type of people. They just can't wait to get us embroiled in whatever kind of military action's going to go on over there. Then less of these type of people in the Republican Party would be the Rand Pauls that are kind of like, why do we need to be involved in this? I would say Donald Trump somewhat falls into that category, although Trump, it's hard to tell where he's at with this sort of thing. I think Donald Trump's answer to everything is, well, if I was there, everything would have been great. It would have been the greatest negotiation in the history of negotiations. You would have never seen such negotiations like this. We would have negotiated a cure to cancer. We wouldn't have even been talking about that, but we simply would have invented it because I'm so great. It's that kind of Trumpian bullshit. So you don't really know where he would have landed on this. Would he invade? Would he support the invasion? Would he do nothing? Would he send troops in? You don't know. Probably he would. I would think he falls a little more towards Rand Paul, where he'd be like, look, we shouldn't be involved in this. Let them do what they're going to do. We'll make some noise, but we're not going to get involved. Hard to say. But now, the Democrats, they're all for it. I'm curious where the squad is on this. That's where I think it's kind of funny. I think they might be against this invasion or us being involved in this. That's where politics makes strange bedfellows, where someone like AOC and I might be on the same side on this. That's interesting. Where does it go from here? You can only hope that something stupid doesn't happen. That's the only thing you can hope here, is that that the Russians simply want to carve out a little more breathing room for themselves. They're going to solidify those 2 breakaway regions and incorporate them into their country, if you will. That it's not going to be a full-scale invasion where they're going to try to take over the whole Ukraine. I don't think they're going to do that. And it doesn't escalate somehow. That NATO doesn't put boots on the ground in the Ukraine, shooting it out with a nuclear power. That's just stupid to me. That's just stupid. I don't see the gain of it. You're going to risk so much to gain what exactly? I just don't. If you neocons, if your next question is, well, where do you stop him then, Mr. Peacenik, Mr. Putin appeaser? When do you stop him? Well, I don't think I get involved until he's knocking on the door of a country not named the Ukraine. I just don't give a shit about the Ukraine. Tell me why I should care. I don't care. The Ukraine was a part of the Soviet Union for what? 70 years? The world didn't end. I mean, it didn't matter to me. It doesn't matter now. All that matters to me now is, I guess we're going to wreck our economy even more, so I can pay even more for a price of gas or a price of gallon of propane to heat my house. And what do I get out of that? I guess I get to not be called a Putin appeaser. Right, okay. I'm tough on Putin, so I'm going to pay more at the pump because USA, I'm tough on Putin. That really doesn't excite me that much at this point in my life. It really doesn't. So we'll just see where that goes. Like I said, cross your fingers. I mean, you cross your fingers because think of who's in charge of this. You got clowns like Biden and Kamala Harris. God only knows what might happen. I mean, these are not smart people. And, there may be some kind of foolish escalation. We just have to hope not. Jane Catterson wanted me to talk about the convoys. The Canadian convoy was a rousing success. They freed themselves. I'd say 40% of the country has dropped their ridiculous mandates up there. I hesitate to talk too much about that because I'm just not that familiar with the rules, the Constitution, the politics of Canada. I know that Enabling Act, or whatever the hell they're calling it, the Emergency Powers Act, or whatever, just invoking that at all is tyranny. And I don't know if there's any going back from that. Now, they've already backed off of it. What I saw, the rumor was that the Senate was not going to approve it. I don't know if that's something you gotta have as part of this act, or for example, in this COVID crap here in this country, the governors didn't go to legislatures and say, hey, can you vote me unlimited power so I could shut the state down because of this health emergency? They didn't do that. They just did it. So I don't know if Trudeau going to the House of Commons or the House of Senate, whatever they call their shit up there, I don't know if that's something he did because he had to, or he thought it would just solidify his power more. But apparently it sounded like the Senate was shaky on granting him this power, as well they should be. So now Trudeau has backed off and said, well, all right, all the trucks are gone. I really maybe don't need all this power right this second. Of course, it's already out there. It's already out of the bag. The cat's already out of the bag. You're a tyrant, dude. If I live in Canada, I am no longer under any kind of constitutional republic or democracy. There's no way. How does somebody run against one of these members of parliament that are pro-Trudeau? How do you possibly run against them? How do you raise money? Anyone that's going to give money to a member of parliament, or I should say someone standing to run for parliament, if my platform is, I believe in the trucker convoy, and these mandates are absolutely ridiculous, and the science does not support this bullshit, he'll just whip out this Enabling Act, or this War Act, or this Terrorist Act, or whatever, and shut down my donors. I can't raise money. I can't get on TV. Money is the mother's milk of politics. If you don't have any money, you can't win. And in a country where the opposition can't raise money, that's a dictatorship. That's Russia. That's what you people need to realize. What they've done in Canada, all you people that hate Putin, Canada is now exactly the same. Trudeau is Putin. He can just stay in power forever. All he has to do is just judiciously use his terrorist act and shut down any kind of dissent, any kind of free speech, shut down the opposition anytime he wants. They can't beat him. They can't get on TV and advertise against him. There'll never be any kind of fair election like that. Or you can have an election. You can even have the opponents on the ballot. But they're going to lose because they can't get their message out. How can they possibly get their message out when they don't have any money because you use this terrorist act to choke off their fundraising. It's sad. It's sad. So, now the question, what about the American truckers? Look, I'm in the trucking industry, and and as I've said over and over again, these mandates are ridiculous. These mandates are unconstitutional. They're un-American. They're evil. They're not moral. They're bad all the way around. That being said, I'd almost rather these American truckers just stayed out of it. They're not going to. God bless them. There's just not going to be enough of them to move the needle. This is my fear. That the Canadians have set the bar pretty high. That protest they had was pretty impressive. And my fear is that the mandates here in this country, they're going away. The Democrat politicians are running for the hills right now. They know in 6 short months they're going to have to stand for re-election. And they know that this is an issue that nobody likes them on. So they're going to pound these people. It's going to be a wipeout, and they're trying to mitigate that. I'm okay with them doing away with the mandates. I don't need them to keep them in place just so we can kick their ass at the ballot box. I'm okay with them doing away with the mandates. I don't really give a shit why they do away with them. Just do away with them. So they are. There's still a handful in place. Biden is still stubbornly clinging to his mandate for the any kind of hospitals. That's stupid. Of course, any company that takes government contracts, they have to have the vaccination mandates. That's idiotic. These mask mandates on public transportation, that's beyond stupid. But it sunsets on the 18th of March. I don't think Biden's going to renew it. Just the trend of way this is going, and I told you this was happening, that back after the wipeout, the Virginia wipeout in November, that you could see the winds starting to blow a little crossways, where some of these Democrats were kind of like, oh, I don't know, maybe we need to, suddenly, Ukraine, suddenly the topic's changing, and now all of a sudden, COVID, Ukraine, Ukraine. So suddenly now it's not that important. If they show up, the American truckers show up, and it's not that many, the left is just going to say, see, the mandates are popular. And I hate to see these guys get financially ruined, which could happen, that they're not dealing with people that play fair. So I really hate to see my guys go there and just get wiped out financially if they're not careful. These people do not play fair. They're not following traditional rules. So, hey, Jane, I'm rooting them on. I hope there's 100,000 trucks that encircle Washington, D.C. and shut the place down for a month. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it would be great if it did, but I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said, these mandates are going away anyway. So what exactly is your point of redress? What are you demanding, Trucker Convoy? Luckily for us, the Supreme Court shot down the worst of those vaccination mandates. Otherwise, I think that we would have just as many trucks and people protesting as the Canadians did, if not more. But, I remember I said that was a deal cut. I don't think that was any kind of law that was followed. It's all politics. There's no law. There's certainly no law at the Supreme Court level. They don't follow the law. They follow politics. And the politics were that there's going to be a revolt in this country if this idiotic mandate goes into effect. And that's what happened. The Democrats gave Roberts and Kavanaugh permission to vote against that. And that was the end of the mandate. That they shot it down. So, all right, what else is there to talk about? Well, like I said, I guess I can go back to reading the Ukraine news, see if anything, the sirens haven't gone off yet. Did you see the bomb shelter that's for sale in Kansas? Like an old Minuteman silo from the 50s. They're selling it, I think they were selling it for $400,000. There's no missile there anymore, unfortunately. It's just a big concrete hole in the ground, basically. My stepson, who thinks I'm made of money, he wants me to buy this. And do what with it exactly? That the realtor says I can make it into a bed and breakfast. The realtor, I don't think, has any concept of construction, carpentry, how much things cost. Just a cursory look at this thing, it would take millions to retrofit this to make it livable in any shape or form. So, if 400,000, price is a little steep. All right, well, very good. That's all we got for you. So, hey, great, good. I believe in free speech. I'm Eric Arnold. We'll talk again. Signing off.